Georgia boy.
To be here. When I think about the different opportunities that I've had in the last 8 years, this might be among the most special. My name is Grant Rivera, and I serve as a very proud superintendent at MayRetta City Schools, and it is my honor and truly my privilege to welcome you this morning. So I wanted to share with the group, today is about honoring Lemon Street. Today is about honoring the alums and the legacy and the special people who not only define Lemon Street, but I would say define the preservation of Lemon Street. I was not from MayRetta. I was a Midwestern boy who transplanted here 25 years ago, and I candidly wasn't familiar with Lemon Street or Woods Wilkins or the legacy of Be Somebody. And on the first day, literally, on the first day that I walked into the office, at the time as an interim superintendent, soon to be appointed full-time a couple weeks later, but the very first meeting that I had was not about math or reading, it wasn't about school buses, it wasn't about school lunches, it wasn't about football, and it wasn't about basketball. The very first meeting I had after I had been appointed superintendent was with a developer. And that developer met me in my office that I had not even furnished yet. And this developer said, "Hey, there's a piece of property." And I said, "Well, I don't even know where it is. Where is it?" And they said, "Well, it's this property over off Lemon Street, and we'd like to buy it from you." And I said, "Well, listen, I haven't even moved into my office yet. I'm not making any decisions on day one. Thank you so much." And that person left my office 30 minutes later. And I remember thinking to myself in that moment, what was so special about this that somebody literally has hit me before I even move into my office? And then several months later, I would meet some really special people. This gentleman who called himself Zany. And a sweet woman named Miss Pearl. And then this gentleman named Anthony and Miss Felicia. They would come and I would meet them at different events in the community, and they would say, "Hey Grant, what do you know about Lemon Street?" And I said, "Well, the only thing I know is somebody tried to buy it from me on my first 5 minutes on the job." And they said, "You need to learn the history of Lemon Street." And like in my gut, I always knew there was something special. I candidly never even imagined this. But that isn't the only part of the story that I want to tell you. So over a period of several months and eventually years, we would engage the board and many alum like those that I just mentioned on, well, we're not selling this place to a developer. But if we're going to do it right, how do we honor this place? And how do we honor you and the legacy and the stories and the people? And we had decided, under the direction of the board, those people who stood a moment ago that I called by name, that we would renovate this place. We would do something with this place. And I remember calling in different architects. And we would call in architects one after another, and we said, "Listen, what can we do with this building?" And folks, I stand in front of you today telling you that each of the architects that we called in, not the one who would eventually do this project, but each of the architects that we would call in would say to me, "Grant, you've got to tear that place down and start over." And not knowing any better, I'm a former special education teacher, I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer. I started to engage our board in conversations on, well, maybe everybody that knows what they're doing is telling us we have to demo this place and we'll build a replica of it. And there are a lot of people I wanted to introduce you to this morning, but one in particular was the person who came in my office after architect and engineer said, you need to tear this place down and start over if you want to do right by honoring the Lemon Street legacy. And she said to me, I know a thing or two about history. I know a thing or two about buildings. And can we walk this building together? And I said, sure. And we would walk this building. And she would say to me, I don't care how many people tell you to tear it down, they're wrong. And she's standing right there. Kim, would you wave just for a quick moment? And what happened is, with the very best of intentions, for a period of months, we thought the best thing to do to honor this building so it could stand forever was to tear it down and rebuild a replica. And expert after expert after expert told us that was exactly what we needed to do. But there was one person who would find an architect, and eventually we would find a company who would say, absolutely not. This building can be saved and should be saved, and let us tell you how to do it. There was one person, amidst a lot of other noise, saying that this place should be torn down, and that was Kim. And I'll tell you the moment where I felt Kim was so vindicated. And it was when we walked in here. And I remember while Parish Construction was working in here, all this ceiling was gone. And I walked in here with the construction manager. He said, Brand, I want to show you something. And it was a gentleman from Parish. And all of this was open. And there were these massive beams in the ceiling. And you know what he said? They don't make them like this anymore. So folks, whether it's our elected officials, whether it's our alums, whether it's our clergy like Pastor Beckham, whether it's our board members, whether it's the person who had a vision unlike everyone else, or whether it's each of you who are a part of this story, we stand here today to say to you, from day one, whatever your day one was, this place is special. This place stands today to honor your legacy, to tell your story, so it is never forgotten. I could not be more proud and more honored to walk my little girls through this building and tell them about each of you, to point to the pictures and the faces and the stories, and to talk about the marching band as they would walk down the streets, and to tell them about Miss Felicia and Miss Pearl and Daddy's friends. And here's the story behind this building. We would walk this building as it was being renovated. We walked this building as recently as yesterday. I tell them your story over and over and over again.
Yes, my name is Freddie Everton. I attended Lemon Street from first grade through the 7th grade. We ended up going to another school after 1967. We had a great time here. This was a great learning experience. The teachers were always good to you. And hey, I stayed out of trouble. And I did what my parents wanted me to do, and I enjoyed it. All right.
Hi, this is Evangelist Arlene McAfee, and I'm over here at the event honoring Lemon Street High School, and we're excited about that. I'm excited because I used to work at the canteen that all the kids know about, and they have grown up to be great young men and women. But we just so glad about the history here in MayRetta, and we thank God that this has happened. I thank God for being asked to say a few words through my friend, but I just praise God for everything that has happened, and we are pillars in this society, and we want to keep it going and for our young people.
Inspiring opening. I actually want to invite my colleagues up because, yes, please, they weren't expecting it, but all of my colleagues who are here on the Board of Education, please come up. They weren't expecting it, but a part of a collective. I'm a part of a group. And I can tell you that when Grant was having those conversations and Kim was pushing us to save this building, this board was saying, saving Lemon Street and honoring Lemon Street is very important to us. And we want to invest the $5.3 million it took to bring this building back. That's what we need. In that meeting, I can't remember because I think COVID was going on at the same time, so it's a time blur. But in that meeting, in that board meeting, where Dr. Rivera brought it to this board, we can save it, we have an architect, and we have a construction company. 7 hands went up in the air unanimously to dedicate that money. It was a there are 3 board members who have moved on to bigger and better things, but I want to acknowledge them: Allison Gruen, Alan Levine, and Randy Weiner. They were part of this board and took that vote, but the 3 members who replaced them, Lemon Street is a priority for them. So when I speak on behalf of us as a collective, this board who cares about this school, this history, and this community. So as we stand on this historic ground today, we are reminded of the countless students, some who have raised their hand, who passed through these halls, many who have gone on to lead remarkable lives. They are leaders in education, law, business, military, ministry, and beyond, shaping the very fabric of MayRetta and far beyond its borders. These alumni are the living legacy of Lemon Street schools, individuals who have risen to the top of their professions, never forgetting the foundation they received here. This school isn't just a place of learning. It was a cornerstone of the community where the values of hard work, perseverance, and excellence were instilled. In the face of segregation, Lemon Street School fostered an environment of excellence that helped its students overcome barriers and break through glass ceilings. Its alumni are examples of what can be achieved when communities, families come together, support each other, and invest in the next generation. Today, as we unveil this plaque, we do so not only to honor the past, but to inspire the future. The stories of those who studied here continue to teach us that education is a powerful force for change, and that through education, the doors of opportunity can be flung wide open for all. Let the plaque that will be unveiled today stand as a permanent reminder that from humble beginnings, greatness can emerge. And let it serve as a symbol of our collective responsibility to ensure that every child, regardless of their background, has access to the tools they need to reach their full potential. On behalf of this board, welcome and thank you.
Is my school, born and raised here, Lemon Street Elementary, MayRetta, Georgia, Lemon Street High School, MayRetta, Georgia, Drum Majorette, MayRetta, Georgia, Homecoming Queen 1965, MayRetta, Georgia. Just glad to be here, knowing that this is home, and happy that we have come thus far.
Hello, my name is Hannah Johnson and I'm with the Old MayRetta Facebook page. I'm here today at Lemon Street Elementary School for the ceremony revealing their historic National Register plaque, which is a huge deal for the city and for the Black community in MayRetta. We're so happy. This is such a great and amazing thing to take place here in MayRetta, and we're just happy to be here. So feel free to keep watching this video and look around this beautiful campus that has been renovated by the city school system, and hopefully will be enjoyed by many generations to come. Thank you.
Some of us haven't seen each other since Hoover left the White House. Some of us still trying to figure out who is that? What's her name? Good morning. It is my pleasure and my honor to be a part of this historic moment. This was not a small undertaking. Stony the road we trod. So many of you gave your time, your thoughts, your wonderful memories and experience at Lemon Street. So many that started out on this journey with us are no longer with us, but the mission has been accomplished. When it looks like it was all over, God made a way. Don't want to be emotional, but this is deep, y'all. My mind has been overwhelmed with so many of my own thoughts about our dear old Lemon Street. That was our song, To Our Dear Old Lemon Street. While I was pondering, my phone rang, and it was Laverne Woods Jackson, the daughter of the late Mr. M.J. Woods, who had no knowledge of what was going on. When I told her what we were working on, she said, "Oh my goodness. I started there in 1938 in the first grade." She said, "Now I'm 86 years old. I'm 91 years old." And she was just so overwhelmed at this moment that this day had come. There's other speakers, so I don't want to take too much time, but my mother taught us that your word is your bond. She said, so do what you say and say what you're going to do. At that time, I think it was the last Cobb County homecoming banquet held at Zion Baptist Church. A gentleman that none of us really knew came up. He told us that he had heard about our struggle, and he wanted to help us preserve our history. He said, and I quote, "I have a 13-year-old daughter, and when she looks back over her life, I want her to know her history." He said, "I have a plan. If you would allow me, I'd like to help you preserve your history." That was Dr. Grant Riviere. You kept your word, and we say thank you. Thank you to the school board. You kept your word. You stuck with him. MayRetta will not only be known now as a place where Sherman fought the war, nor will only be known as the Big Chicken. You can go to New York and say the Big Chicken, they say, "Oh, I've been there." Now it will be known as the Lemon Street School, Lemon Street Elementary School. We are officially on the National Historic Register, and that deserves. At one point, there were different groups, but we soon realized that we had to unify to make this happen. To all the committee members who met and paid $50 a year just to send out posters for mailings or whatever we needed, to all the families of the donors who gave money, to Kennesaw State University, and to all the students who helped make this happen, we say thank you. To God be the glory. As you roam these halls today and think of your classroom and your teachers, I pray that you will thank for the blessings that has started us on our way. This school, help me say this school. This school produced doctors and lawyers and teachers and principals, preachers, engineers, managers, and the list goes on. Today is proof that determination, perseverance, and commitment pays off. Thank you.
I just want to say I'm so happy I was able to witness this day, the day that they preserved African American history here in MayRetta. It's for the world to see, because it was a special place. Like they said, doctors, lawyers, professionals, movie stars, all came through here. This was the only school for African Americans back then, and it was special. You know, those mottos, be somebody, those were special. My parents were raised here, and they raised us on those values like they were talking about earlier. So it's an emotional day, it's a special day, and I'm so glad we were able to witness it.
My name is Margaret Owens, and I went to school here and graduated from here. This is the second home of Georgia, MayRetta especially. But I played basketball here, I ran track here, I cheerleaded here, and I graduated from here. So it's in my system, and I enjoy coming to the opening house of Lemon Street. I just love the fact that it's still here. It is still here. Thank you.
I'm Linda, and I am so glad they saved our school. I got so many memories here, and my favorite teacher was Miss Jenny Hill Gresham. I love this school, and I am so glad it's still here. Praise the Lord. Thank you.
So here before our alums, and certainly those present and those that came before us, we present a replica of our National Registry plaque. As we close, and I'll ask them to stay up here for a moment. As we close, I want to offer this. You are welcome to walk this building. You are welcome to take a picture with this replica here. You're welcome to take pictures throughout the building. This is your home. And we thank you for coming here today. To all of our guests, our elected officials, our board members, our community leaders, our pastors, our alums, our staff, present and past, to each and every one of you, we thank you for helping us today share and define for both the current, those of us here, and for future generations, the legacy that is Lemon Street. Thank you so much for joining us today, and you're welcome to walk the building. Thank you.
This was a fantastic occasion today, celebrating the history of the Lemon Street School. The school being on the state and national register of historic places. This was a great accomplishment, and the alumni from Lemon Street are so very, very proud of their history. As I always say, if you don't value history, you never will appreciate it. And Black history is a part of American history. And we are so excited and thrilled that we can share this history with future generations.
I'm Felicia Wilson Taylor. I attended Lemon Street Elementary. I attended the high school. And I've got a long history with this. My first grade class was down the hall. My second grade class, when the school closed and we were forced to integrate, the Cobb County Library System took over 3 rooms here for the library for the kids that were going to live down here in Fort Hill Homes. And they said as long as there was a Fort Hill project, that was going to be the library. Because the kids couldn't walk. I mean, to go across Boswell Road. So this school has been the community meeting spot for a very long time. Until the schools integrated, every Black child in Cobb County had to go to Lemon Street High School. But there were other elementary schools, Rose Garden Hill and Smyrna. I've forgotten the one at Atworth now, but each of the little communities had their own elementary and middle school. But Lemon Street was a high school, and as I said, it tied everything together. You know, we had, I just told a lady, we had a football season where the scores didn't even look like football scores. When you beat somebody 88-0, that's not a football score. But that was our scores that year, 62-0. So we were just running over everybody. We were that good. And a lot of the guys, I don't think any of them ever went on to play pro ball. However, Our basketball team was average, but we had players who went on to play in the NBA. Julius Keys graduated from Lemon Street High School, used to live right down the street from us, and still is tied with Allen Iverson on a scoring challenge. So we had great teachers and a great community that lifted us up. That was the main thing. To see this now and know
Lily and Joe are out here to sing the song.
that 100 years from now, it's still going to be here. Children are still going to be educated here. Children are still going to be encouraged here and exalted and lifted up. Because that's what our teachers did. They didn't take no mess from us now. Please don't get it twisted. They didn't believe in gentle parenting or gentle teaching. But they pushed us forward. And that in of itself is one of the greatest things that I really take from it. And in fact, when I started teaching myself, that was one of the things that really, I wanted to be like those teachers I had. I worked hard at it. I wasn't as good because I wasn't as patient, but that was it. And that's why today was so overwhelming. Because 30 years and all of those memories, every person in that room, husband, wife, brother, sister, it's a whole lot of it. Like my brother's in Texas, he couldn't come today, but his children know about Lemon Street. One of them is still in Texas, the other one is something with the FAA in DC. So it's that kind of continuity.
Of these, and I said, I know just the ladies. So you have a choice. You want popcorn, you want flowers, or you want both?
Both. I'm pickish. I want both.
Oh, there you go.
Isn't that lovely?
This is something for you to look at. Remember your legacy, okay?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
To remember the day. Miss Carter, I got one coming to you too. Now, I don't want to like hand it to you and you have to be able to do anything with it. Do you want me to like carry it to your car?
My husband's straight down there at the end. I'll give it to Shakira. That's why we have young folks.
You tell her what to do like you told me what to do?
Yes.
Of course.
Georgia, Georgia, Georgia.